Well, hello and how are you? And welcome to Richie D here at Country Cottage Renovation here in the west of Ireland. Now, I'd like to thank everybody first of all for all your lovely comments and what have you over the last few months. I'm 6 months into this renovation. I moved in here in September of last year, and I am now, as I say, 6 months into the renovation and still going. Now, the renovation consisted of, we had to do the floors. The floor in the sitting room had to be ripped out, and it had to be totally redone. And I'd like to thank everybody for, subscribing and following the renovation. It's not over yet because I'm going to put a compilation up when it's all finished, a video of it start, finish, and all the pitfalls we came up against, because most of it is on film. The search for a property started in March of 2023. I used to live in a small little village called Ballinagar in the county of Roscommon, and nice little place that was, and lovely people, absolutely fantastic. But it was in a housing estate, a small housing estate, well kept and great, as I say, fantastic people, absolutely great neighbours. But I always had this hankering to be on my own out in the country. I went walking last March with my partner up in the mountains, up around Neffin and things like that, up around Crossmalina and Mayo. And I was shown a cottage, kind of whet my appetite again for this beautiful searching and what have you, for cottages. So it started then. That was March of last year. 6 months on, I'm in the west of Ireland and I'm in a cottage. It's okay, it's not too bad. Now, it's not as old as I would have liked to have bought. This building was built in 1973. I've met the man who laid the blocks on it, he lives down the road, and it was originally built for a council tenant, and well built. There's no studded walls in these type buildings. They're all solid concrete block walls, and no pyrite or whatever you'd like to call it. No, that wasn't in the deal. But it sits on roughly a little bit over a half an acre of land. I know it looks bigger from the videos and everything that I've been showing you. It is only just about 2.5 kilometers from my nearest town. I'm so close to a train station. I'm just about 10k away from a train station. So, and I've recently acquired an electric bike. Well, a dual-purpose bike. It's electric, and But anyway, that's straying away here. I just want to say that I am embracing this beautiful countryside and everything that goes with it. Like, it's hard to believe that I lived in a concrete jungle. Selbridge, County Kildare is where I'm from originally. As you know, anyone that knows that part of the woods would know that you're really in Dublin. That's really where you are. And really in Dublin. But to come out here and end up being able to hear the birds and in the mornings, to hear the little lambs in the field right beside me, it's just phenomenal. It's just brilliant. I have a rescue dog, as you know, is Jack. I lost a great little doggy I had, a great companion for over 12 years. Bailey died last year, around April, and it's just phenomenal how big changes can happen in around 12 months. 12 months ago, I started searching for a house, and this 24 in 23, and in 24 I'm here, and I'm 6 months into the property. Renovations that had to be done was the urgent ones, such as the floor in the sitting room, like I said at the beginning, had to be replaced. There was 4.5-inch choices on that, and they were rotten, and I mean rotten. I had two great young men, Paul and Caleb, helped me move in some of the furniture, and the first things they were commented on, and they're really young lads, they said, I think there's something wrong with your floor in the sitting room. Yeah, but we already knew that, and it was absolutely rotten. When I took up the laminate floor, it was disguised with, it was just, it wasn't loved. The house wasn't loved. It was just camouflaged to make it look presentable. It used to be used as an Airbnb, believe it or not, and a lot of the signs from Airbnb are still in the house, and I'm removing them as we go along. It was built in 74, and the technology back then wasn't great when it comes down to pressure timber, pressure treated timber, or what have you. But at the same time, it's stood 50 years. We're into 50 years now, and it's standing very well, the house. And as I say, a council house is a well-built house, and I bought it anyway last September. We've done the floors are done. I've also taken out all the door frames because we had woodworm. Took out all the wood, all the skirting boards, and all of the door frames, and doors, of course, they had to also be disposed of. Along the way, we were searching for some fantastic furniture, and we found some beautiful old furniture, and the video that I'll make when the video over in the house is finished will only be a testament to that. You'll see the furniture that has been acquired over the last few months, and it's still ongoing. Like end tables, like bedside lockers, like what have you. Like I'll show you an example now. We were out there 2 weeks ago over in Belmullet, and I'd like to say a big thank you to the gentleman I bought this from, David. You're out there, and I won't mention your second name, but he's out in Belmullet near Black Sod, and anyone recognise this? Anyone that is into old cars, especially collector's cars of a vintage in around the 1930s or beyond, from here, this is a working Smith's car clock. It's a wind-up clock. It's a 7-day clock, and the like of that, believe it or not, costs €50. My God, look at that! It's in walnut, I think, is the wood, and it's beautiful. Inside it's got a Bakelite cover on the clock. It's got its winder and what have you, and it's absolutely brilliant. I'm trying to show you this clock now. I'll open it up. Let me see. It comes open from here now, and on the back of that clock you have, there's the workings. Look at that. Can you hear it? Well, there you go. That's the kind of stuff that I'm picking up. And I don't want an IKEA house. I don't want chipboard, and I don't want OSB, and I don't want MDF. I don't want any of that. And hence, I'd rather see a piece of white deal in the house than a piece of chipboard. That's exactly the truth. I can't stand it anymore. And I'm trying to keep a theme in the house as well. I want it to look like just old, just stuck in time. Even though it's got its mod cons, it's still a place where I find very relaxing. I could easily have bought an older house, of course, and I'd be still trying to put it together in a way that it would cost to be a money pit, be it from the 1800s or whatever. But that doesn't mean to say that I can't have things the way I want them to be in a 1970s house. Because looking at some of the structure of the property here, it's solid. I mean, I'm never going to have to worry about it from being my age now to when it's if it's stood 50 years already and withstood all the tests of weather and what have you. I can't see it causing me any problems in the future. I can't. So with the floor replaced in the sitting room, that was the biggest task. It was to rip out all the old joists, and that's what you have to expect when you're buying an old property. That on the renovation, I feel myself very lucky. I've done a few alterations to electrics in your absence as well. In the absence, when the house was left empty, I had no choice but to go onto the smart meter system, because they automatically install them. When a house is left empty or is not occupied, they will come along and they will, without any hullabaloo, put in your smart meter. So I'm reaping the benefits of that though, because I'm good at putting on the washing machine at certain times where there's a lower rate of electricity and what have you. You know, these are little things that have to be taken into consideration when you're looking into a property. You're also looking at like how far away you are from a town, from a village, from an infrastructure point of view. It's all good. It's all good and positive for me. I love where I am. I can now at this very moment, you won't hear it, but I can actually hear birds singing in the background. And I can actually, I have ample room for my rescue dog, Jack, and I've made an addition to the family of rescues, my wags or my furby friends of Chinook, the cat, the kitten. Chinook is a rescue kitten, and Chinook is Irish for fox, because he looks like he's the same colour as an Irish fox, and by God, he's every bit as cute as. Come on up here and say hello. Come on. He's hovering around here. Come on up to Daddy. Come on. Now, look, he's just come up, and there he is. There's Shunnock. Say hello to Shunnock. Hello. Anyway, Shunnock wants to sit down because I'm sitting in front of a lovely solid fuel stove at the moment. Shunnock is trying to get in on the action here, and we let him do what he has to do. Right, but getting back to this now, I know this is a lengthy kind of a video, but it's a more of an introduction to YouTube followers, that in the west of Ireland there is properties for sale. Yes, there is, and they are what you call cheap. Oh, by today's standards, by all means they are cheap, but they can become a money pit. And I'd like to say that if I didn't have the expert guidance of two particular gentlemen, I would have ended up either in a house that has had serious rising damp issues, or infested by vermin. And I don't mean little mice, I mean the little larger ones. Yeah, and I could have had a roof to take off, and take off a thatch that was underneath a roof. It's crazy what people have done to some of their properties to try and sell them, you know, to make them look good. I would say that 90% of the properties out there are all camouflaged. They're all camouflaged. They're all paint. You know, there's a lot going on under a coat of paint. A lot. I had, as I say, woodworm. I had, and this is a 1970s house. Can you imagine what it must be like in a 1850s house? It goes without. I'd love to own it, don't get me wrong, and I've kissed a lot of frogs before I found this little prince of a house. Another thing to consider as well is when you move into an environment in the country, coming from a concrete jungle, you've got to remember one, and also people from overseas, this is to you as well. In the country, there is a different way of life. And if you think that you're going to have your neighbours and people around you adjust to you, that doesn't happen. And for you to think so, you're being very naive, because you've got to adapt to them, and you've got to adapt to your surroundings. Like, for instance, here's a small example. I have a collie dog, a Jack. Now there's lambs around me. I have to be ultra what could I say? Ultra conscious of my environment where that dog is concerned, because that dog could do irreparable damage and devastating damage to lambs and sheep. Every dog is a house angel, but when they get into a pack mode or whatever, we all know what they can do and that's devastating to your local farmers, and that's one hell of a good way of falling out with your neighbours. And there's my big one is adapt to your surroundings. I'll give you an example. There's a person not too far away from where I live, doesn't like the smell of turf. Right, that's perfect. Well, what are you doing living in the country? There's another person that doesn't like farming activity around where he lives. But don't forget, he's just bought into the area. And, you can't dictate to a farmer who's been, and his family been here generations before you, as to how they should live. Oh my God, no. I embrace that because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't mind if the farmer smells slurry. I like the smell of the farm. I like the smell of the country. Yeah, and I love the smell of turf, because I tend to only burn turf if I can help it, because I love turf. I don't live in the concrete jungle anymore, and the rules for the concrete jungle has become a rural paradise for me now. So that you can, as far as I'd be concerned, you can keep your concrete jungles. You're 45 minutes to get 2 miles down the road in your car. At least when I'm driving. And I mean I'm driving in some of the most picturesque places in the west of Ireland. Is on my doorstep. And quality of life, to me, 100% improvement. 100%. So if you're thinking about buying a property, head on out there and go and do it. And don't be like they say, piss or get off the pot. Yeah, that's it. I'm being blunt. Yeah, either do it or don't do it, and just stop messing. I would say it's a heartache for estate agents all over the country who get people that visit Ireland, the west of Ireland, and now Easter is just around the corner. It's 28th of March, 26th of March or something today. And see that now, for instance. If I was in my old place in Selfridge there, I'd know what date it is, what time it is and everything. It's insignificant here. Insignificant. It's just fantastic. So, if I were you, I'd just go with it. If you've been hankering to buy a country property, remember this, you only live once. And this is not a rehearsal. This is the real thing. I'd rather have this little holding, my own little part of Ireland, and I'll persevere with the repairs, and I'll keep it up. We had to repair more than we could keep. Everything in the place was it was unloved. It was just unloved, and now it's starting to turn. Now we're starting to get everything where it should be, and the sitting room and all. I don't want to film it now because I want to film the house when it's totally finished and let you see all the work that's been done. Trees cut down, bird houses, and birdies living in the houses. And if you take down a tree in the country, make sure you put up 3 or 4 nest boxes in place of that, because that was a habitat for the birdies. There's a lot of country code that you don't take into consideration when you're 2 seconds away from Tesco or Lidl or Aldi or whatever, you know. There's a lot, you know. But I leave you with that. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to the video, and go along with some of the stuff. And don't forget to leave a comment. You know, comments are good, and comments are constructive, and even constructive criticism is very, very good. So if you have any, pop it on, and don't forget to share, like, subscribe. It's Richie D in the Country Cottage Renovation. Thanks very much for watching.